Shalom Yeladim. Let's continue learning about Parshat Re'eh. Moshe Rabbeinu teaches the Bnei Yisrael about the Shalosh Regalim. We know what Shalosh means. That means 3. And where are your Raglayim? Down here, right? Raglayim are feet. What do Shalosh Regalim mean? 3 feet. I'm going to tell you. There were 3 times a year when the Bnei Yisrael needed to travel from all parts of Eretz Yisrael to come to Yerushalayim for Yom Tov. Now, they didn't have to come to Yerushalayim on Tu B'Shvat. And they didn't have to come to Yerushalayim on Purim. And they didn't have to come to Yerushalayim on Lag BaOmer. There were 3 special Yom Tovim that the Bnei Yisrael had a mitzvah to come up to Yerushalayim. One of the Yom Tovim was Pesach. The other one was Sukkot. And the other one was Shavuot. Those were the 3 Yomim Tovim that the Bnei Yisrael had a mitzvah to travel and go up to Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim was a higher part of Eretz Yisrael. And the Yeladim and the Imas and Abbas would travel with their animals, with animals for korbanot and animals to travel. They did not have cars or buses or trains. They needed to use their raglayim. They needed to use their feet. That's why these holidays, these chagim, are called Shalosh Regalim. Because we need to use our raglayim to go up to Yerushalayim. Now, why do you think the Torah gives us this mitzvah? Because the Torah wanted everyone to have a chance to come to the Beit HaMikdash. The Beit HaMikdash was so special. It was the house of Hashem. It was where the Kohanim brought many korbanot. It was a chance to see the Kohen Gadol in very special clothing. And it was a chance to be together. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when everybody comes up to Yerushalayim and comes together, there's going to be so much simcha. Everyone's going to be so happy. They're going to enjoy the Yom Tov even more. Nachon Yeladim, isn't it true that when we celebrate at home by ourselves, it's a little lonesome? But we come together and we make a big party, and my friend comes from this part of the city, and my other friend comes from this part of the city, and my neighbor comes, and my cousin comes, and we all come together. It's a great party. It becomes such a celebration. We're so happy to see each other and spend time together. Well, the people of Yerushalayim, they looked forward to all Klal Yisrael coming to Yerushalayim. And even though it was full of people, everyone had a place to stay. Everybody had enough water to drink. It was full of miracles too. Can you imagine all of Klal Yisrael standing in the courtyard of the Beit HaMikdash in the Chatzer? The Chatzer wasn't such a big space at all. But the more people came, the more room there was. Many, many miracles happened so that the Bnei Yisrael could come and enjoy Yom Tov together. There was a story that was told once upon a time when the Bnei Yisrael were getting ready to go for Yom Tov to Yerushalayim. The neighbors in the city, the non-Jewish neighbors, started to think about nasty things to do. They thought, I know that when this family goes away to Yerushalayim, they are away for a long time. It takes them many weeks to get to Yerushalayim. Then they have their holiday, and then they come back. I have a plan. I'm going to get my neighbor, and together we're going to go into the house of the Yidden who live across the street, and we are going to steal all their things. It's going to be great. The family will go to Yerushalayim, no one will be home, and me and my neighbor, we're going to become rich. We're going to take all the things that the Yidden have in their house. Well, the not such nice neighbor went to his friend and says, hey, George, come with me. I have a plan. We're going to watch the Jewish family across the street, and as soon as they are packed up and ready to go to Yerushalayim, we will wait till they're gone, and we will go in and take everything from their home. And it's going to be great. We're going to be rich. George said, okay, I'm ready. That night, they watched the house of the Yehudim, of the Yidden, and saw people inside walking around. They were waiting. The next day, there were still people walking around. The next day, there were still people walking around. George couldn't understand. The neighbor couldn't understand. Could it be that this year the Yidden are not going to go down up to Yerushalayim for their holiday, for their Chag? Can't be. All right, we'll wait another few days. They waited. The lights were going on and off. They saw shadows of people going in and out, going through the windows. They could see shadows. They decided, I guess this year they're not going. And each of them went back to their homes. And they forgot about their plan. And many, many weeks went by. One day, the neighbor was walking in the street and saw his Jewish friend, the man who lived next door, across the street, walking. The Jewish man came over to the neighbor and said, oh, I'm so happy to see you. We were away in Yerushalayim, and I want to thank you so much for taking care of our home while we were away, so that nothing would happen. The neighbor, the non-Jewish neighbor, looked so surprised. What? You went to Yerushalayim? Really? We saw people walking around in your house. The Jewish man said, I don't understand. The neighbor became very embarrassed. He said, I have to tell you something horrible. We were planning to rob you, to take everything out of your house while you were away in Yerushalayim. But every day when we came to look at your house and watch, it wasn't empty. We saw shadows walking this way and that way. And we thought that you were home. And we gave up and we went back to our houses. Oh, said the Jewish man with a big smile on his face, I know what happened. We went to do a mitzvah. And because we were busy doing a mitzvah, Hashem sent malachim, angels, to watch over our house. You see, when a Jewish person wants to do a mitzvah, Hashem protects that Jewish person, that nothing should go wrong and no harm should come to him. Wow, said the neighbor, so embarrassed. That is pretty special. I apologize. I see that you are protected by your Hashem. Please, can you teach me more about your Hashem and about the wonderful things that he does for you? I will try to be a much kinder, nicer person and try never to be nasty or have nasty thoughts again. The Yid said, I forgive you. I will teach you. And when he went back to his home, he had a big smile on his face. He was so grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for protecting him and his family and all the things that were in his household. Why? Because he did the mitzvah of Shalosh Regalim. He did the mitzvah of going up to Yerushalayim for Yom Tov and doing all the mitzvot that the Yom Tov had and being close to the Beit HaMikdash and sharing in the simcha of all of Klal Yisrael. Why do you think the Torah reminded us again in this week's Parsha? We already learned about the Shalosh Regalim in the Sefer of Vayikra. Because in this week's Parsha, Hashem wants to teach us that when we are having a good time, when we are getting ready for Yom Tov, when we have our Yom Tov outfits, when we have special Yom Tov food, when our Chag is going to be beautiful, we must never forget the person who is poor, who may not have enough money to buy beautiful Yom Tov clothing, who may not have enough money to buy special Yom Tov treats, who may not have enough to make a Yom Tov Seudah, or have enough to buy matzah, to buy lulav and etrog. Whenever the Torah reminds us about a mitzvah, it's to teach us something new. And this time, it was to teach us to take care of everyone around us. When we are besimcha, when we are enjoying a Yom Tov, we want to make sure that everyone is enjoying the Yom Tov too. And we are taking care of them. That is a huge mitzvah and a huge chesed. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very proud of us when we take care of the people around us and make them happy. I am sure that you do that, Yiladim. And we'll talk again soon.